Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our webinar tonight. My name is Lindsay D'Souza, and I'm one of the alumni officers here at McMaster, and I take care of our recent alumni, anyone that's graduated in the last 10 years. I'm so happy you could join us tonight for our webinar with QTrade. So just a few logistics before we get started. If you have any questions tonight, you can put them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, as well as the chat. And we have two speakers I'd like to introduce today. The first is Joe Firrincieli, who is the QTrade Director of Sales. And a little bit about Joe. For the past 18 years, Joe has partnered with financial advisors throughout the Greater Toronto area to help them create effective investing and financial planning strategies for their clients. Through Joe's education and experience in practice management, mutual fund investments, segregated funds, retirement income planning, and annuities, he has gained extensive knowledge in helping advisors and their clients achieve their financial goals. Joe is excited to expand his career by building relationships with financial advisors and association partners, most recently with us, across Canada to grow their digital wealth platform strategies. And I'd also like to introduce Joe's colleague, Carolyn Devick, who will also be answering questions tonight. So if you hear her voice, that is the name behind the voice. And I'll throw it over to you, Joe.
Excellent. Thank you, Lindsay, and thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you, the McMaster Alumni Association, for having me tonight. Really excited. Obviously, this is the third webinar that we've had, and really excited about sharing an opportunity to really learn more about investing with QTrade Direct Investing. We're going to focus on a few things, a few key concepts tonight. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the online brokerage at a glance, taking a deeper dive into what online brokerage is, who's it for, and some of the benefits. We'll also look at how to start investing online, looking at different account types, even asset types, developing a plan, which I think is important, which I might have mentioned in a few of the other webinars that we've had. And then we're going to take a quick demo through the QTrade Direct Investing platform. As Lindsay mentioned, if there's any questions that come up, you can use the chat feature. Carolyn, my colleague, will be more than happy to try and answer those. At the end of the presentation, if there's any other or further questions you might have, we can definitely open it up. I'll hand it back to Lindsay and we can go from there. So let's jump right in. Canadians have actually seen an unprecedented growth over the recent years. Over 30% of Canadians now have an online brokerage account, and that continues to grow. 1 in 3 Canadians have an online brokerage account. There's over 10 million accounts and growing. And who's driving that is Gen Zs and millennials. A lot of that growth is being driven, by Gen Zs and millennials. And I think that's a huge opportunity for us to take a closer look at where those are coming. And what's driving that mindset is really that do-it-yourself mindset, as well as responsible investing. A lot of these Gen Z and millennials are taking control and leveraging their digital savviness, as well as building on the accumulation tailwind that we're seeing in recent growth. Canadians have actually seen recently, over the last few years, an opportunity for more unprecedented growth. Although interest rates have declined, we're seeing a lot more of that growth actually starting to increase as interest rates have declined during the recent years. Although the stock market has seen great opportunities and seen a major growth for Canadian savings. As you can see here by the S&P TSX over that period of time, the markets have continued to grow over any volatility that we might have seen in the environment. But let's hear from you. Let's take a quick poll. How can I use online discount brokerages? I'm going to open this up now to actually ask a few questions around how do you think you can use an online brokerage discount? What are some of the benefits of using an online brokerage discount? Is it A, a platform for investments, research, and companies? B, analytical tools to make informed decisions about investment options? Or a do-it-yourself platform to buy and sell your own securities?
So just most people are saying C, but we do have some that are saying all of the above.
Perfect. Excellent. There is no wrong answer here. I think it's important for us to take a deeper dive, and it's good that majority of people are saying all of the above. shows that you've done your homework and you've been able to take a closer look. In fact, most online discount brokerages offer that a platform to research investments, and specifically stocks, companies, securities. They also offer analytical tools to help you make more informed decisions about your investing options and take the emotions out of investing. And it is, you're right, a do-it-yourself platform, mainly to buy and sell your own securities under your own management. So what is an online discount brokerage? An online discount brokerage is a broker that connects customers over the internet instead of face-to-face interactions. We might have heard of full service or working with an individual advisor. Working in an online discount brokerage, everything is done and initiated by you. Customers can purchase or sell investment securities such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, GICs, really offering them more flexibility and choice. They also offer discounted services, flexible investment options, mainly through the internet, and access to the markets as well. There's no actual physical location or physical office. This, in essence, provides a lot of convenience and ease of use. Online discount brokerage is also referred to as discount brokerage or online brokerage. So some of the terminology that you might be hearing throughout the presentation as well. So what are some of the benefits of online investing? Some of Canada's best online brokerages offer lower fees, easy to use trading platforms, planning and research tools to help us make more well-formed decisions. The real message that I want you to get from this slide is there's 6 main topics that usually come up when looking at online brokerages: low costs, control, convenience, speed, choice, and information. When it comes to low costs, you might be looking at options around low trading commission fees. How do we keep more of your money investing rather than you paying it on fees? Maybe control and convenience are important to you. So whether you're in charge of your own investments, you want to make sure that your money continues to grow just as you do. Convenience, having the ability to be able to access the markets and your account details. You also receive alerts through market watches and other events that might take place where you can actually take advantage of opportunities. Maybe it's speed or choice that are important to you, having the opportunity to execute trades rapidly and have them filled quickly, or the choice of the investment or risk solutions that you might be looking to meet your portfolio needs and goals, as well as access. Most commonly, online brokerages are used for ETFs as well as individual securities, but we do see opportunities where mutual funds and GICs are being utilized more. And last but not least, making informed decisions. So accessing the research and the tools and the reports to be able to access the information you need to make well-informed decisions on your investments and taking the emotions out of investing. So who is online discount brokerage for? I want to give you, there is a little bit of a misconception when it comes to online investing. Ultimately, most people think online investing is for active day traders, people that actually have the time to be able to see what's happening in the market and they're more active. I'm here to tell you, really, it's for anyone, whether you're an investor or an active trader. The investors might be looking at maybe a more passive buy and hold strategy, a longer term. They're looking maybe for value investing, and they might be looking at, companies that over a longer period of time are going to provide us with a higher return with lower risk. If you're a more active trader or someone that is more interested in the markets, you might be looking at doing a little bit more research. You might be placing a more significant trades to take advantage of opportunities such as short-term price movements. You might be looking at specific company trends or what's happening in the media to really help participate. So whether you're the most novice investor or the most sophisticated investor, there's really an opportunity for everyone here when it comes to online investing. There is a wealth continuum that I think everyone needs to understand. It's just important for you guys to have a better understanding of what services you need and want, and at which level you might be able to incorporate them as they become more complicated and more decisions need to be required, or more support needs to be done when it comes to helping. So whether you're starting as, again, a novice, maybe looking at basic, just the savings account, GIC, online banking, loans, or online calculators, really having that do-it-yourself with maybe some advice along the way, or really looking to build on that. Or whether you're looking at more of a intermediate and building on that and expanding what you've might have already started to learn on the do-it-yourself side by looking at different research reports, mutual funds, ETF stocks, taking a deeper dive on some of the investment research tools and online investing capabilities that we have. Eventually, though, there is an opportunity where you might have to work with an advisor, and that's what we normally call as full service or working with an advisor or full service advice. Typically, you're leveraging the expertise of professionals, and in this particular case, financial planning might be more involved, such as estate planning, taxation, retirement income planning, and that really expands as the complexity of your portfolios do as well. So let's hear from you. What type of account types can I open at QTrade? Is it A, non-registered account, aka cash accounts only, B, registered accounts only, RSPs, TFSAs, or RESPs, or C, all of the above?
I think the answer is obvious, Joe. Most people are answering C.
Yeah, absolutely right. There are many options when it comes to accounts, different types of accounts, especially at QTrade, and at most online brokerages, you do have options. We also offer US dollar options as well, which I think is important as more and more people trying to participate in the US markets as well. So absolutely. Well, if you look at some of the accounts that are available, just taking a look at some of the popular accounts that we have here, as we mentioned in our poll question, TFSAs and cash accounts seem to be the most common that we see being utilized in these platforms. Registered accounts, for those of you that aren't aware, they're tax advantage. There is tax advantages to having them. Their investment earnings are tax sheltered until withdrawal. For non-registered accounts, typically that's where we see a lot of our accounts being opened. These are straightforward investing accounts. They earnings are taxable. You can have joint accounts, and they're both in Canadian and US dollars. RSPs are also another common account type that we see. These are tax deferred savings, usually for retirement and spousal plans as well. And again, all these accounts are available. Not so commonly utilized, but getting a little bit more. Margin accounts, this is where you're looking to borrow to trade, typically used for short selling, as well as in other types of investment strategies. There are other account types, as you can see, RIF, RESPs, as well as LIRAs. And it's important that I share with you that each account allows us really to buy and sell securities, exchange traded funds, bonds, mutual funds, GICs, and much more. You can open multiple accounts, and there is an opportunity for you to build on that as you start to continue on your investment journey. So understanding the asset types, what can you buy, what can you sell? I think it's important that you first have a plan, set goals, help choose which are most appropriate, which asset types and asset allocations models are most appropriate to you. There are three main asset classes, so equities and stocks, and that's typically buying stocks or shares of a particular company or ownership of that company. These historically offer highest short-term risk, but also offer the highest long-term returns. Fixed income has become more popular recently. This refers to mainly the government and corporate bonds, mainly used to provide income and stability. These can also be a buffer against market volatility that we see. And last but not least, cash and equivalents. This refers mainly to cash accounts or GICs, guaranteed investment certificates. These are ultimately very safe, but offer low rates of return. So once you identify which asset class is best suited for you, it's important to see which asset allocation model is calibrated to meet your goals and as well as your risk level. Here's an example of 6 individual asset allocation models, and these are just a composition between equities, fixed income, and cash, and ultimately are an opportunity for us to be able to provide a calculated approach to you managing your risk level and being able to participate in different areas, whether that be equities, fixed income, or cash equivalents. It's also important to know, while most of our online brokerages are utilized for ETFs, we also have pre-constructed investments, and these are the easiest. Pre-constructed investments are also known as ETFs. They also allow us to gain diversification of assets in a single product. And more commonly, ETFs offer the individuals an opportunity to really participate and mutual funds professionally in these managed baskets of investments. They offer exposure to up to thousands of companies all at once. These are the most absolute easiest and cost-efficient ways to be a diversified self-directed investor, and even our experienced investors often continue to use these strategies. More recently, we have introduced multi-asset ETFs, and these are newer products. They are ETFs of ETFs. which are made up of several individual ETFs, providing a whole portfolio's worth of assets in a single product. As you can see there in the funnel on the left side, you've got Canadian equities ETFs, US equities ETFs, and emerging markets, building on a greater single multi-asset product or ETF, and providing you with more choice and flexibility to have a cost-efficient way to have a self-directed investment. We also have at QTrade a list of 100 commission-free ETFs, which I'm going to show you a little bit later in our demonstration, to really provide you with a lot more choice and flexibility when it comes to building your own portfolios. But it's important to build a plan, set goals. While you're planning and you're guiding towards your own personal investment savings, you really want to try and avoid making decisions based on your emotions. And that's where we see a lot of people that continue to build on their investment portfolios and really trying to remove the emotions when it comes to investing. But it's important that your planning starts by considering a few things. And this is a great layout. It's also something that we have on our education tabs, which I'll also share with you on our demo. And it's really just a starting step for everyone who's just getting started into investing. And that's just really, taking a look at the first circle there, investing knowledge. Are you a beginner, an expert, or somewhere in between? Really identifying, where do you fit in? How do you fit in when it comes to your investing knowledge? How much available time do you have? How much time do you have in a day to be able to invest in your portfolios? How much of you are actually interested in that time to be able to do the research and the analytics behind picking the individual securities that you might be interested in? What's your risk tolerance? Is it high? Is it low? What options are available for you to mitigate some of that risk and take a little bit more of a calculated return? And objectives. What are you investing for? What are some of the goals? What are some of your plans? What do you really want to achieve when it comes to your self-directed portfolio, and how can you get there? And last but not least, setting a time horizon. When will you need the funds? How do you access them? What type of horizon do you have to really help you focus on setting your own goals? It's important, though, when you invest consistently, you make a habit of paying yourself first. We see a lot of people starting pre-authorized checkings into their accounts, which is important as they're taking advantage of different prices and fluctuations in the market. So starting that opportunity to really start investing in your own plans. And really focus on your goals. These are the factors that really make a decision when it comes to investing and really help focus on helping you build your personal investment goals. So just sitting on another poll question, which option best describes your level of investing experience today? Is it A, beginner, B, intermediate, or C, advanced?
Mostly A's and B's, Joe.
Okay, great. That's it's great that you guys all joined the call today. I think that's a great opportunity for us to get started. I know there's a lot of terminology you might be hearing for the first time. For those of you that are beginners, don't be frightened, don't be scared. There's a great opportunity for you to learn and build as you start on your investment journey. That's the intentions of these webinars, and McMaster's done a phenomenal job in building on that and continuing to build on that. Whether you're intermediate or advanced, I think there's always room for education. I think that's important as we continue to move, as there's a flow of information continues to rise and present itself to us. It's important for us to invest in ourselves, and that's really the opportunity in learning more and especially expanding yourself in tonight's webinar. So let's switch gears for a little bit and take a quick look at QTrade Direct Investing's platform and take a deeper dive into some of the opportunities that I might be able to present for you. So at first glance, when you log into QTrade Direct Investing, you'll notice that when you are comparing us to our competitors in the marketplace, it's important to understand what it is that you're looking for from an online direct investing platform. At first glance, I really like our platform. As our video mentioned before, provides us a lot of confidence, easy to access, easy to navigate through, and I'm going to share a little bit of that with you today. So when you first log in, you'll notice what is important to most people. What is my market value? What did I put in when I first started my investments? And where is it today? And we can look at it by week, month, quarter, or by years. And that's typically, when we've done our research, has been the most important thing that most people are interested in when they first log in. If you scroll down, you'll have access to any of the portfolio accounts that you've opened up. So whether that be a margin account, or as we mentioned earlier, an RSP or a TFSA, you'll have a quick access glance to see what the account type is, as well as the market value in the portfolio. You'll be able to click through that as well and see the individual securities. Scrolling further down, you'll be able to see top equity movers. So what's happening in the market, where are we seeing opportunities, what equities or securities are moving that is piquing a lot of interest in the marketplace. On the right-hand side, you'll notice here just a quick access, or quick links is what I like to refer to them. For example, let's say you're at a dinner party and someone's talking about a specific security, or let's say, for example, something comes up in your conversations with someone that you're talking about an individual security. Air Canada has been coming up quite frequently for me. So I just want to quickly take a look at Air Canada to see how it's performing. I can just do a quick search. It'll bring me into a tab that looks like this, and it'll be able to give me a further breakdown of the individual security that I'm looking at. What I like about this, and I'll get into the research a little bit further, basically you'll have an outline of all this research was accessible to you, whether that be charts, recent news, some of the fundamentals, as well as the reports on earnings and ratings. You can also look at more deeper dive on technical research as well. We can look how it's been doing over a period of time, whether that be a 1 month, 6 month period, or a 5-year period. If for those of you that remember 2020, the beginning of the pandemic, we saw a significant drop in this security, as you can see here, as flight was grounded and no one was traveling. And then since then, we've seen it continue to rise since it's been we've been able to travel again. What I like as well is you've got the most recent news or headlines that you're seeing. So listed here, and most of the research that's provided for us at QTrade is through Morningstar, Dow Jones, Desjardins, as well as GlobeFund. So great opportunities for us to be able to share that information with our clients. You'll also be able to see analyst recommendation as well as competitors. What I like about this particular area is whether there's an opportunity to buy, sell, overweight, or hold. This is really just helping you make more informed decisions on whether or not you're interested in purchasing it, and if there's an opportunity, what analysts are rating it and how they're rating it. You're also able to see competitors in the space and what they're trading at to be able to provide you with an opportunity to make more informed decisions. Going back, you can also access the indices, which is important. What I normally find when people start investing for the first time, they're usually finding information in different resources. A lot of the people are using social media, other platforms, or other resources, or other websites such as Yahoo Finance. Reddit is another example. If you remember the Reddit rally at the beginning, originally was driving a lot of that, in particular security. GameStop is an example. And that really, for me, plays a factor, I think, when it comes to making informed decisions, because we're getting different opinions from varying places. And I think that having all the resources and all the research available to you by a vetted source like QTrade Direct Investing gives you an opportunity to make more informed decisions and not have to be able to miss opportunities just because you're researching or hearing or listening to different types of feedback from different areas. But if we click at, as an example, if we click on one of the indices, it'll bring you to another tab here. And these are just quick links, as I mentioned, where you're able to provide an opportunity to see what the index is doing, again, during different time periods, essentially top news that you're hearing about in the market. What I really like, and where I see opportunities again, is when, for example, if we're looking at the TSX, where there's opportunities, where are we underweight? And for most of us, we know in Canada we're underweight in healthcare. So we might have to look at US markets, for example, if I'm looking to diversify in healthcare. Gainers and losers, this is a great opportunity. Again, no one can determine who's going to be the best performing security, or what's going to be the least performing security, but there's a great way for us to take a closer look, be able to track and identify where we're seeing opportunities. And all that's listed here under that opportunity, comparing on the different indices that we see. You also have quick links. So for example, if you wanted to build a watch list, if you wanted to trade or add an account or contact our service center, you've got quick access through the first main page. We also have portfolio analytics. So most recently, we've made some enhancements to our platform where we're able to provide portfolio score as well as portfolio simulator. And this is basically the opportunity for us to have calculators that are available to our clients to be able to score their portfolios based on their underlying holdings and their risk tolerance, and be able to create a portfolio and score that portfolio on 5 different dimensions to minimize those risks and take the emotions out of investing. We also have quick links to market commentary that's available through here. Again, just being able to access information on areas that we see within different within the markets, what we're looking for. For example, if there's any information that's just mostly the most recent headlines, this is where you'd be able to find it in the market wraps. Okay. It's important that I share with you, oftentimes I get asked, you're not alone when it comes to investing. And I think that's important because at any time we do have a contact management system, one of the best in the contact services department, where we're able to contact our customer service department to be able to assist you with your account. We also have a frequently asked questions tab where you have questions that have been already asked and answered to be able to provide and help you navigate through any questions you might have, as well as an area called Guided Me, where you basically can ask a question. If someone has already asked that question, it will give you a quick solution. For example, how do I access Portfolio Simulator? It'll give you a quick response and walk you through these hover opportunities as we go through and open that. Okay. I'm going to take a few moments now just to kind of walk you through some of these tabs. I think it's important for us to be able to share a little bit of the insight on and some of the competitive advantages that we have when it comes to investing. So I'll start with the first one. If you remember early on, I mentioned that most of online investors use ETFs as an opportunity to start on their investment journey, as it's the most safest way to have a self-directed, diversified investment portfolio. At QTrade Direct Investing, we have 100 commission-free ETFs. This is a great resource. While some of our competitors offer ETFs, some of them are not free, and some of them are proprietarily owned by the companies, so they're not actually giving a lot of choice and flexibility. What I like about our platform is we have 100 commission-free ETFs. In all of our tabs, you'll notice there's always an explanation on what ETFs are, what they're being utilized for, as well as what options you have. So as you can see here, you have iShares by BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, Horizon, as well as Desjardins, just to name a few options. And if we actually click the Canadian listed 100 commission-free ETFs, you'll notice that you've got a list here that you're able to take a closer look at by asset class, by region, as well as by type. And this is a great resource for you to leverage, as these are commission-free, so to help us mitigate some of those costs when it comes to investing and providing you with a lot more choice and flexibility, as none of these are owned by us at QTrade, giving you an opportunity to invest in different companies. We also talked about multi-asset. I think it's important here. As you can see, we've listed it here under asset class. You're able to just click quickly and sort through that and be able to identify whether you're looking for fixed income or multi-asset products, and really provide you with that opportunity to narrow down and make it as easy as possible to start your investment journey. We also have responsible investing. So as I mentioned early on, especially with Gen Zs and millennials, we're seeing greater opportunities and growth with responsible investing. And it's important that we want to provide those options, especially if you're starting off on your investment journey and you really want to start investing, responsible investing. We also have 100 commission-free ETFs that are listed on the US stock exchange, which is important too. Again, providing you with more flexibility and choice and options to be able to diversify in areas of the market where we might in Canada not have a greater exposure. We would be able to access it through the US market. When it comes to trading, it's very easy and straightforward. So oftentimes people get overwhelmed when they're looking to place a trade for the first time. I'll give you an example. Let's say, for example, we're going to use our Canadian cash account. We're going to invest in the Canadian market. Let's say we're going to look at Air Canada again. It'll prompt me here just to make sure that everything is as we said it was. You're looking at the price, initially what the changes have been. What I like about our platform too, as you can see here, listing very straightforward what's in your account and a glossary or of definitions. So let's say, for example, you wanted to place a trade and you wanted to place it at market. It gives you an example of what that means. Just trading that security listed on the exchange basically is listed on the Canadian or US stock exchange. We then would just either buy or sell. Let's say in this particular case, we're going to buy 100 shares of Air Canada at market, and at the close of the market on Wednesday the 23rd, we will review that order and place that trade. It's as simple as that. So it's really important to not get overwhelmed, especially when it comes to investing. Same would apply if you're selling that particular position. What are you looking to sell at market? And any information that you might have here, for example, is available to you at your fingertips when it comes to investing. When you look at market commentary, as I mentioned early on, we do have a lot of information that's available to you. We have daily commentaries, we have sector commentaries. So for example, while we are publishing commentaries that are provided from us by Dow Jones, Desjardins, Trading Central, as well as Morningstar, all of this is available to you at your fingertips, so you can get a review of what's happening in the market daily. As well as if you're looking, for example, for a specific sector, let's say you're looking at technology, you can take a quick glance at opportunities that we've seen that have been provided by major analysts, and really give you a little bit more detail in specific results that we've seen in research and where there might be some opportunities. When it comes to that market overview that I mentioned to you earlier, again, these are just those quick links that I'm just kind of walking you through now. Under quotes and market info, you can just hit market review. You'll have access to those individual securities, as I mentioned early on. Under investment tools, you can create watch lists. I think this is important, especially as a new investor, to create maybe opportunities in doing your research. Let's say we're looking at individual energy companies. This is a pre-built list that we have. We've got here, for example, Suncor Energy Inc., as well as West Haven Gold Corp. We can basically build a watch list, be able to set a criteria for us that we might pique our interest, and then alert us to when we might want to buy or sell that individual security. Portfolio and analytics, again, another example. This is something that we want to take a deeper dive on at one point or another. But in the interest of time today, we're just going to show you it. To Portfolio Creator is really just a questionnaire to optimize your portfolio's risk exposure. So let's say, for example, you've got a portfolio of pre-constructed ETFs that you're looking to invest in. You can run them through this questionnaire, set up that portfolio through the portfolio simulator, and be able to score that portfolio to see how it measures up to your risk tolerances and help you make more informed decisions, especially and help you develop an investment plan. One of my favorite tabs is the research tab. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is whether you're the most novice investor or the most sophisticated investor, we do have a lot of information that's available to you at your fingertips. I would urge you to walk through our trial account, which I'll share a little bit with you in a few moments, but it really gives you access to a lot of information such that I'm sharing with you here. So let's say, for example, you want to look at analyst recommendations. You can take a closer look at some of our Morningstar analyst recommendations. Now, typically, in most of our other competitors, if you are looking at this type of research and level of research, you'll have to pay additional fees. All of this is embedded in our costs, so there is no extra fees for all the research that you're seeing here. But let's say, for example, you're getting, you want access to Morningstar information. You can click this tab. Let's say we're looking at US dividend investments as an option. You'll get the latest Morningstar research provided by Morningstar as of November, be able to see what options are available, how they're rated as they rate them through Morningstar, what their buying opportunity or current price is at, and then their outlook on the individual securities and where they're seeing opportunities. So a lot of detailed information that's available to you. If you want to take a little bit of a deeper dive, we also have technical research that is available. And again, this just helps us build on continual opportunities that we see. So let's say, for example, we're looking at Rogers as an example. We're following that. If you do any type of charting, this might be for our more sophisticated investors as they start to continue to build, where they see opportunities in investing and really get the benefit of participating in different areas over that period of time. One of my favorite here is Value Analyzer. It's just a quick way to basically take a look as an example of an individual security. It's brought to you by Trading Central, which is another third-party investment technology and research house that we leverage. It really gives us an opportunity to kind of get various information and be able to access it in different ways, from the most technical to the most researched ways in which tools might be beneficial for you to leverage in the beginning. So let's say, for example, we're looking at Netflix as an example. That was one that I looked at, and many of us probably know. Let's say, for example, at the beginning of the pandemic, I know everyone was binge watching Netflix. It seemed like everyone was on Netflix at one particular time or another. This is a great way for us to just take a quick glance at it, essentially what it's trading at, what the overall value is of it. What I like about this is our projections based on the project value chart that we have here. Is it at fair value, undervalued, or overvalued? That gives us really an opportunity to see if it's an opportunity for us to buy, what its primary business nature is. And then we've got a few reports or individual charts that we've snipped out and basically been able to provide here as an example. So whether that be revenue and earnings, how are they basically logging their earnings per share over a period of time. One that I usually look at is price history over the 1-year period. And essentially, are we seeing opportunities or dips? And there's been significant dips as changes have been happening over a period of time, especially with subscriptions, and a decline now of the usage of Netflix as other providers are coming in. We can see also year over year, their revenue, year over year percentage returns, as well as any cash or shares that are available. And I think this is just a great snapshot for us to leverage. And if I use my example again of Air Canada as another example, we can take a quick glance, and it's as easy as looking at where there's opportunities again. Air Canada is trading at $18. If we click the project value chart, you can see currently our 5-year projection over that period of time is overvalued right now. So just some quick examples on how to leverage. By no means do I expect everyone to be an expert. There's also ways that we can look at building and expanding our information. There's also Morningstar research, Morningstar library that you can access. So for example, if there's a specific topic that you want to take a look at, for example, cannabis, you can do some research, let's say from the beginning of the year, and be able to really uncover some opportunities that we've seen over that period of time. If we were to look at any articles that might have been done during that period of time. And this really just helps us make more informed decisions. We've got a lot of research here that's available to you, as I mentioned, and it really provides you with a lot of opportunities to really participate in, whether that be videos, personal finance, or research that we have written, all at your fingertips and all being provided and driven by Morningstar. Now, the most important tab, I think, is the education tab. You might want to start off if you're first or if you're new. As we mentioned earlier in one of the poll questions, there's a lot of beginners. This would be my first tab and definitely somewhere that I would spend a lot more time on. Essentially, we've built an education tab and you've got 3 categories here: education resources and getting started. The education resources tabs provides you with a lot of information that we have on account types, investment types, or even just getting started. We have a number of videos for the most novice or the most active investor on individual securities, how to purchase them. We also have a trading guide, which is a downloaded guide that you can access to be able to walk you through some of the terminology as well as the platform itself. We also have information on individual account types like RSPs, our ESPs, where you're able to find and uncover more information on the right account type for you. under getting started, I think it's important to just take a look at this. We mentioned it in some of the presentation today, but really just being able to make well-informed decisions, having a plan in place, invest with confidence, and really looking at some of the tools that you have to build on your portfolio. An example too, if you just hover over some of them, they will be quick links as well to redirect you back into those tabs, but they're designed to really provide you with a roadmap or a plan in order to make sure that you're making the right decisions when it comes to you setting up your own portfolio. So as you can see here, plan and set your goals for your portfolio, look at the planning tools and calculators, project your net worth, establish an investment plan. Is this for retirement, your education? What are your objectives? Build on an investment idea. How do we use, what are we going to use? Are we going to use stocks, ETFs, or mutual funds as an option to start investing to meet your needs? And what type of research are we going to be able to leverage? Is it going to be more advanced technical research that you might need a little bit more time on uncovering and identifying, or is it going to be research news or morning news as an example that we're trying to track and watch along the markets to see if there's any opportunities? We want to evaluate those stocks. So once we identified what we're looking for, whether that be individual securities or companies or ETFs, we want to make sure that we're making the right decisions by evaluating those stocks. So analyst recommendations help you with that, to be able to provide that expert advice, as well as fundamental research, which is some of the things that I shared with you, some of the companies' metrics on performance, as well as financial statements that's important, as well as their rankings and ratings within their peer group. And then ultimately, we're going to want to trade. So how do we access that trading platform? As I showed you there, many drop downs to be able to buy or sell individual securities, to be able to access those markets or those individual securities, ETFs and mutual funds, or GICs as well. And then last but not least, we're going to continue to monitor your account, review your holdings. We can do that by setting up watch lists, setting up alerts to make sure you're getting notified of any market events or specific talks, changes in price that you might want to take advantage of or be aware of. And review your holdings consistently. I think it's important to stay on track. Take a look at an opportunity, compare against its benchmarks. Remember, this is a do-it-yourself approach, so you are learning and investing on your own and really providing you with that opportunity to build and grow and showcase that there is an opportunity for you to start on your investment journey and minimize your risks. Okay, I'm just going
Joe, will you be going back to the deck?
Yeah, I'm going back right now. So as I mentioned during the demonstration, there is an opportunity for you to actually set up a trial account. So for 30 days, you can set up a free trial account through our QTrade website. You'll get access to the online trading platform. You'll also get access to the research and the ability to analyze stocks as I did, as well as any of the market news that we reviewed. You'll be able to manage watch lists and track individual securities. We are ranked #1 in digital brokerage by the Globe and Mail, 17 out of the last 25 years. And I think that's important to continue to build on that success and really help you make an informed decision when it comes to that. Sorry. You can sign up for a free trial account through our QTrade website, and I think that's important for you to take a closer look at. As we start to build as well, we've got a new campaign. You're able to get up to $2,000 in cash back. That is going to start on November 24th. So we are offering for any new account qualifying for QTrade Direct Investing by March 1st, by just entering the code GetCash2023 and depositing or transferring at least $5,000 in new assets to the account, you'll be able to participate in a cash bonus. As you can see there, those are the tiered offerings. So for $5,000 to $50,000, it's $150 in cash bonus, and so on and so forth. That bonus will be paid to your QTrade Direct Investing account on October 31st of 2023. And for our alumni at McMaster, we are also offering a $50 sign-up bonus for any new clients who use the promo code GetCash2023 and open a new account by March 1st. Especially for our alumni, you'll be able to fund that account with at least $1,000. You'll get a bonus which will be paid by April 30 of 2023.
Can I just add to that, Joe?
Sure.
So the campaign starts on Thursday. So if you go on to the alumni benefits page and click through from the QTrade advertisement there, it'll take you directly to an account opening page, and you will have the promo code associated with that, so you don't have to type it in. And also you'll be flagged as a McMaster alumni where you'll get special pricing. So it starts Thursday. So that was it. Thanks, Joe.
No problem. And last but not least, as we mentioned early on, we want to provide you with confidence and conviction when it comes to investing. You've got goals. We want you to pursue them with confidence. We'd like you to try our online investing. I think it's a great way through that trial account. It only takes a few steps for you to actually get started. Setting up that trial account, you'll be able to navigate through the platform as I did. If you've already considering on opening an account, consider your plan, consider your goals, choose the brokerage account that's best suited for you. Open and fund your investment account, start learning, start building, expand on your investment knowledge, and then start trading, whether it's buying, holding, or buying and selling as you like, and continue to invest in yourself as well as continue to build on your investments to meet your goals. And what I'll do at this time, I'll pass it back to you, Lindsay.
Perfect. Yeah, so if anyone has any more questions for Joe, you can put them in the Q&A now. We did get some questions with registration, so maybe I'll just kick it off with a few of those while we maybe get some questions from our attendees tonight.
Sure.
So the first one was, when you're on a limited income and feel late in the game for investing, where would you start initially investing? And there's kind of a second part to that. What is the minimum you suggest investing to start?
Great question. It's hard for me to suggest a specific amount. It really depends on your financial opportunities that you see, what you can commit. Ultimately, there is no wrong time to start on your investment journey. I think that's the key component or the key takeaway. It's really, what comfort level do you have? What are you capable of sparing, and how can we start investing? I would say if it's limited on the income source that you have, I would resort on maybe things that are a little bit less. Look at ways that you can reduce costs. Look at maybe products that are not as costly, such as our commission-free ETFs as an example, where you can start on your investment journey with relatively low costs and keep more of your wealth in your pocket.
So the next one is, what's the difference in investing in ETFs versus mutual funds, and how should I approach index funds?
Great question. So depending on, to answer your question around individual ETFs as well as mutual funds, so there is a difference in fees. Typically, there is a management fee that is incurred, or there is an extra additional fee when it comes to mutual funds over ETFs. And typically, that's decided by the mutual fund companies that you're using. And that really participates in areas where, if, for example, there is no exposure and you want to get exposure to a mutual fund, you might be willing to invest in a mutual fund, which is, again, a constructed portfolio, which is built for you. ETFs really depends on access. Again, our online brokerage portfolios get a lot of usage when it comes to ETFs, especially our commission-free ETFs. So I would always say, if you're starting on your journey, whether it be through indexing or through individual ETFs, it's a great way for you to look at options that we have on our platform, because you got a lot more choice and flexibility.
And then someone asked, I have a pension employer RSP that I need to transfer. What would you recommend as the best option to invest? ETF, mutual fund, or stock? So would that kind of go back to the definitions you just gave us on both?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't make any recommendations as I'm not licensed to do so, but I would urge them to reach out. We do have our customer service team that's able to help them if they're looking to do their own online investing. They can help make some recommendations. And also help support them with the transfer requirements if they're looking to do it yourself. Ultimately, they can work with a full service advisor to be able to provide some guidance if they're looking to utilize their pensions in the next little while.
And someone asked, can QTrade be used to invest corporate funds or just individual?
No, great question. You can invest corporate. If you have a corporation or a business, we can open a business account and set up your corporation to do online investing as well. There are requirements though. It's not as simple as opening your own personal account. There are additional forms that are required. And again, our client service team can help support them and provide them with the necessary documentation to open that account. We have a dedicated team to assist with business owners as well. So that enables us to be able to provide the accurate information and get that utilized and set up for them.
Awesome. And we just had 2 questions come in from our webinar. So the first is, do you have any quick tips for building a growth ETF portfolio?
Again, being that you'd actually have to speak to someone who's licensed to be able to help you with that. If you're doing your own research, I would say utilize the tools that we have. We have an ETF analyzer that you're able to take a closer look at, run through the portfolio simulator and creator. So even if you've got that trial account, I would urge you to take a look at some of the growth opportunities. If you remember the commission for ETFs that I went through in the beginning, you're able to sort it by asset class. There are growth ETFs that are there. So take a closer look at those individual growth ETFs that are available. Once you've identified the 3 or 4 that you're interested in, maybe the ones that are giving you different exposure to different areas or geographic regions, then put them through the portfolio creator portfolio simulator, run them through a simulation and see how they would compare to your risk tolerance. I think that would be the best advice that I could give you, rather than kind of identifying individual securities to pick.
And there's one last question here, unless anyone else has any that they'd like to send in the next few minutes. Why do individuals decide to invest in individual securities instead of just investing in low-cost index funds?
Great question. That's really a personal preference. I think it just depends. For example, we see differences in people wanting to invest maybe in the companies that they're already working for. Maybe there's something that is appealing to them. So for example, it really depends on their preference, their time horizon, their overall goals. I think that even their risk tolerance has to play a factor into buying individual securities. And more importantly, like if I use an example, sometimes even social media plays a component where you start to get caught up on what you're hearing in the news, and you want to participate for the fact of fear of missing out. As an example, we've got a lot of great resources online, and I think it's important to understand the differences that we have of and that they're trying to uncover when it comes to investing. And as I mentioned, those education tabs under our platform really provide you with a lot more guidance around the differences between ETFs, indexes, as well as individual securities. So being able to identify which asset type is best suited for you is important, and be able to mitigate some of that risk. So for example, some people might not be comfortable with individual securities. They might be more comfortable with indexing or ETFs. And that really depends on their comfort level as well as their time horizon and their risk tolerance.
With the popularity of online brokers increasing and the long-term usage of these platforms for retirement savings, how do you see online brokers changing in the next few decades? So for example, someone who's planning on retiring in 30 years and has a QTrade account.
Yeah, great question. I think more and more people, if anything, during the pandemic, had more access to online investing. I think things had to change essentially within the industry. So within financial services, we have seen a change. I wouldn't say for a portion of a client's portfolio, it might make sense for them to diversify that pie and provide an option of online investing. I still think as the complexity of portfolios and situations arise for individual investors, you're still going to need the importance of valued advice. So by no means are online brokerages services in the next few years going to replace the valued advice. I think there's a need for both of them as we continue to start on our investment journeys.
And a question here that says, can we create a mock profile and run it through portfolio analytics? I played around a bit, but was not able to figure it out.
Okay. Great question. So we don't have any mock trading that is available on our website right now where you're able to buy and sell individual securities, but you can run the simulation through Portfolio Creator to be able to score that portfolio. And what I mean by score that portfolio is we'll look at downside risk, we'll look at income, we'll look at diversification, and really be able to provide an option of how the portfolio behaves in those 5 different dimensions.
I think that was it for questions. So I'd just like to thank Joe and Carolyn tonight for all your helpful advice. I know I've learned a lot. I'm sure all our attendants have as well. For everyone that did attend, we did record the session and we will be sending it out to you later on this week or next week. So you can rewatch and go through the QTrade platform along with the webinar. And there will be a survey at the end of the webinar as well. If you wouldn't mind filling that out, we'd love to hear your feedback so we can send it along to Joe and Carolyn so that we can put on more QTrade webinars for you in the future. And I think that's everything. So thank you, everyone, and have a great night.